Hello, today we're going to be installing a mini split ductless heat pump in a commercial application. We're going to be showing you basically the steps, the proper steps for procedure to install it, and how to properly start up a mini split heat pump. Okay, on the back of the air handler is where our wall mount bracket is for the air handler. It comes pre-installed with a securing screw for shipping. Just remove that screw and take your bracket off, and now here is the wall mount bracket that we're going to be placing on the wall for the air handler installation. Okay, now we have our location on the wall where we want to install our air handler. The biggest thing you need to check is where your studs are located and what is your wall actually made out of to get through it. Here we're just dealing with a grass wallpaper and a sheetrock wall with typical 2x4 studs, so it's very simple application to drill through, and then we have a hole on the back side that we can make our connections on. So basically what I like to do is ensure you have enough clearance from your ceiling for two reasons. For return airflow, the air actually is pulled down from the top and blown out the bottom, so you need to make sure you have clearance for your air to flow. And also you want to think about serviceability later. So I like to keep it 6 inches away from the ceiling so I can always get the whole face of the air handler off with ease. If you put it up to 4 inches, like is the minimum clearance for a lot of models, it makes it very difficult to get that face off. So basically what I did, I came here, come 6 inches down, and made me a light pencil mark where I'm going to put my bracket. And then from there, I came in here with a stud finder and I found my stud. I found one stud is located here, and then of course 16 inches away is going to be center of my next stud. So I'll know not to make my drill points in those locations for my line set to go out. So we're going to go ahead and mount the bracket now, and then we'll drill our hole through the wall, and then we'll set the air handler. Okay, now we have our bracket installed. We've got anchors behind all points. Our biggest part that we need to make sure is good and secure is our bottom latch. We want to make sure we got some down in our bottom so it's good, secure, and snug. And then our top latches, we want to make sure that's very good and tight at the top. And then of course, check and recheck all installations to make sure it's perfectly level. Once the bracket is there, you can measure off. This particular application, we just measured off 2.5 inches over and 1.5 inches up from the bottom of our line. Because we're dealing with grass cloth or a wall covering, I wanted to scar this edge so our saw don't grab it and rip it and tear it down the wall. We want to make sure we keep a happy customer. So now I'm going to drill through this wall, make our hole, and then we'll set our air handler. And you want to place your bit at a downward angle for the slope of the drain. And just like that, we have a hole in our wall. Behind it we have some insulation. I'll go back there and clear that out, and then we'll be ready to set our air handler. Okay, so now we've got our hole in our wall. We're going to take our air handler and get it prepared to set it up on the wall. So I'm going to open our faceplate here. There's a cover here which all of our wires go into, and that's our access point for our control voltage. We're going to pull the cover off, set it to the side, and there's a small plate that covers the control voltage connections. So we'll pull that off, set it to the side. Now we'll have access to our control voltage panel so we can fish our wire through and get ready for the air handler installation. So we'll shut our top back. We have our lines in the back. We'll pull them out straight, pass through the wall. You want to make sure you take good care doing that because it is copper line, and if you kinked it, I don't want to tell you if you kink it. You have to buy a new one. But anyway, just take good care, bend it out, just don't manhandle it and it'll bend out real easily. The systems come, you'll see, with the caps on the air handlers. That's to keep any trash and debris for shipping. And what you want to do is, this is your drain hose. You want to make sure your drain hose is on the bottom when you pass it through your hole. And I'll show you how to do this right now when we pass it through the hole. Alright, so now we have our air handler set. Always want to put something on the bottom of your air handler to keep it from scratching. And our control voltage wire, we've got our hole in the wall, bracket mounted, good and secure. There's a hole in the back of the air handler. Pass the wire straight into that hole. And this is your outdoor temperature sensor wire. It has a clip on the back of the air handler. You can just plug it right in. And make sure a good connection is made. And after that, you're ready to pass everything through the wall. Once everything is passed through the wall, air handler sits right up on your bracket and you're in good shape. I don't never snap the bottom of the bracket until the final installation, once you get all your wires and all that done. It just makes it easier in case you got to pull it back up to feed one of the wires back through that might have slipped out. So just save that part for last, and that's it. Got our wires through, got our plate off, wires are stripped back, ready to go. What we're going to do now is make sure we make a good secure connection to each one of our points, and also we're going to mark these wires down in our location and write them down on a pad to make sure they don't get confused later. It's a very important step to make sure these wires are 100% properly installed at the air handler to the condenser. Any misinstallation can actually cause control board failure upon install. So very important step. Make sure this step is not bypassed. So these are not color coded for any particular standards. We're going to use the colors and then designate them ourselves to the number that corresponds with it. So I'm using blue for number 1, and color codes can vary. So if you don't have a blue and you got a purple, that's fine. It's no big deal. You just make sure 1, 2, and 3 goes to 1, 2, and 3 inside to outside, and L1 and N1 is not swapped between inside and outside. So we're just going to make these quick little connections, and once we made them, we will then write it down on our pad, put our pad in our toolbox for our condenser installation. Or if you're installing the condenser first, then do the vice versa. Make sure the condenser numbers is written down in preparation for your air handler installation. Now we have all of our wires secured down. I'm going to take a pen and a notepad, and I'm going to write down which color corresponds with which number. So 1 is blue, 2 is orange, 3 is yellow, and then I'm going to move to my high voltage, which is L1 is black, N1 is red, and we're using brown for ground. That lug you see at the end with the little marks that's pointing down is actually a ground symbol.